Hey James, it's good to be back. So, gosh darn it, James. Truth be told, I really have no idea where to go with this video. Now, I don't really know if you all find that surprising, but I at least find it a little funny. Because really, since your video on Thursday, I've spent all my time doing pretty much nothing but thinking about and formulating and articulating my responses and thinking about how I was supposed to present them to you. Because really, there was a lot to talk about, and I would have ended up making like a 10-minute video, I'm sure of it. I tell you, I was prepared to be very forward and very blunt, really, and I guess I was kind of worried because I wasn't sure how well that would go over. But after seeing your video yesterday, I feel like it would kind of be not even just unnecessary, but a little wrong for me to go off at you like that. But most of what I had to say concerned your attitude and what you at least seem to expect of other people. But in your video yesterday, you seem to be looking at things in a much more healthy way, I guess, so that's good. Of course, that means that most of my speech kind of went out the window. Really, all I have left to say is that I hope you can keep in mind that there's a difference between discussing something and fighting, or even arguing and fighting, and that you shouldn't be afraid to be contrary, because it's not the contrariness, it's contrariness. Nobody worth giving a second thought to is going to think less of you as a person just for having contrary opinions. Really, other than that, I guess I've just been thinking about how we interpret things and how we mean things and how those differ and connotations and stuff like you were talking about. And it was an interesting realization when you brought this up, because I realized that for how much we had been telling you not to worry about swearing because other people don't mean it as an offense to you personally, I had been watching your video from Thursday time and time again, and every time I watched it, I found something more that I wanted to pick apart. And I just find it a little amazing, our ability to find what we want to find in other people. Now, I really don't mean to imply that I think you're offended by cursing because you look for things about cursing that are offensive to you, but I can say with confidence that by the last few times I watched your video, I was looking for things to disagree with, and I just kept finding them. I guess that's kind of what happens though when you have the time and ability to scrutinize someone. Like when you're speaking to someone in person, sure, all the same things might be being said, but it's really different from when you're talking to someone through text or even through video. Because when someone says something in text or in a video, you have the ability to replay it and pay attention to things like word choice, syntax, grammar even. And if you're looking at things closely enough, then you're bound to find connotations in words that likely weren't even intended. And I'm sure I don't need to explain how connoting something unintentionally could end badly. Words are interesting. Now there is something I could go on about. I'll save that for another day though. Also, sorry if you were expecting me to talk more about like Harry Potter and Star Wars. I mean, I have stuff to say about all that, but just markedly less. I will say though that I'm seeing the double premiere with my mom and sister, so that's fun. And on that note, Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow.